We are talking to Emilio Santoro. I don't think I have to say who that is. I think most of our listeners probably have a good idea. Thank you for talking with us today,
Well, thank
sir.
you for having me.
Absolutely. I was just telling TL, the Blue Suede Connection is, we don't do interviews. We have conversations with fellow Elvis fans. And this fellow Elvis fan just happens to be an amazing, talented entertainer.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Just get the basic stuff out of the way. We got to do that. Where you're from and,
Right.
and how old you are and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm 21 years old, and I'm from a little seaside town called Weston S Mare in the United Kingdom.
So how does a young man, at your age, become such a massive Elvis fan? And how did you get into this whole thing?
Well, I've been an Elvis fan since the age of 4. I've got photos of me in jumpsuits when I was younger. My mum, she's just a massive Elvis fan, and she's just drip-feeded me Elvis since I was a little kid. And then one day, the first time I sort of knew about Elvis, I just remember watching the Aloha special. And then that next Christmas, I wrote to Santa asking for a jumpsuit. And then ever since there, I've just not looked back.
It's funny you said that because we all have our experiences how we became fans.
Yeah.
Little me, back when I had great hair like you, lying on the floor with my bowl of cereal, watching Aloha.
There you go.
And I saw a superhero walk out with
That's
the
what it
cape
is.
and the hair.
That's what it is, yeah.
So it's the same thing. 21 years old.
21.
And look at you, man. You're set now. You know what you're doing the rest of your life, don't you?
I'm living the dream. I mean, I was just a young Elvis fan. I'm still a massive Elvis fan first and foremost. But I never thought that singing my idol's songs would get me to travel where I've been across the world and get to do what I love doing. And I'm living the dream doing that.
Wow. How did you realize or first come to realize that you had the pipes to do this?
Well, to be honest, I started attending the Elvis festivals back at home as a fan, and I went to the Porthcawl Elvis Festival, which is in Wales, for the first time in 2016. And that was just an amazing experience. And I was just, all the guys there, they were so supportive. So they were like trying to get me up on stage at any chance. And then with that experience, I was just able to start singing. And then I just loved it from there. I didn't think like I didn't sound great or anything. I didn't think anything like that. I just knew that I loved it. And then ever since there, I've just wanted to do this as a living.
Speaking of the guys, and I always say it's like a brotherhood. It really is.
Yeah.
You Elvi have your own thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When did you know you were in? When did you feel I'm part of this now? I'm one of the brothers.
Well, I think definitely at first. So when I first started coming into the scene back at home, I was 13 years old. So I felt like an old timer now in this business. But the guys, they took me right in under the wing. But I always felt a bit like, because I was a bit younger, I knew that they were sort of. I didn't want them to think that they were hanging out with like, oh, it's this young kid again. But it never felt like that for me personally. They were always looking out for me. And then just these last few years, after COVID, really, I've started coming over to the States more, in Canada a lot more. And all the guys just everywhere around the world, I've not met one guy who hasn't supported each other. And that's just the amazing thing about this brotherhood.
Because you are 21, I know you're expected to always do Elvis, the young Elvis.
Right.
I'm sure. Do you do the jumpsuit Elvis at all?
No. To be honest, I love the jumpsuit Elvis. Like I'm preparing for the time when it will come. But I always tell people it'll be 10 years minimum before I even touch a jumpsuit. I don't want to rush it because I love what I'm doing now, and
right.
I don't want to rush it. And then later on in my career, I've got nothing else to look forward to. So I know that I've got something to look forward to.
I think that's smart because there isn't a whole lot of 50s Elvis. So you can be the man for that position.
Well, no, I appreciate it. But Elvis, he had such an amazing, powerful voice in the 70s, and his voice from the 50s to the 70s is completely different. Yeah. So I know that when Elvis, he was in his 30s, like when he started doing Vegas. So I know that my voice isn't fully settled yet. So I want to be able to do the man justice, and that's the thing as an Elvis fan.
So you're gonna go through the same process the man did.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's really smart. That's smart.
I mentioned to you that we really enjoyed the Viva Las Vegas thing you did yesterday. Not a lot of people do the movie Elvis stuff.
Yeah.
That is also something you could probably do too,
well,
right?
I mean, growing up as an Elvis fan, I would always watch the Elvis movies, and I think people know that some of the movies weren't as good as others. I mean, I love the King Creole movies, a lot of the earlier movies, but I think Elvis then started getting a bit bored of the movies, which you could tell. But in those movies, there's always at least one good song.
Absolutely.
And I'm a massive fan of Elvis's movies. And I just love how his voice just changes throughout the movies, and I love doing the movie shows for sure.
We call it the Velvet Elvis. A lot of those movie songs are the Velvet Elvis voice.
Early 60s, that's where Elvis's voice was in my personal favorite.
What is your favorite Elvis movie song? Do you have one?
Elvis movie song, I think the whole King Creole soundtrack is amazing.
It's by far, and that was just something we talked about on the show, the best soundtrack.
Yeah, I think there's so many, Young Dreams, New Orleans, Dixieland Rock, obviously the big hits as well, like King Creole, but there's just so many, like there's not one song in there that I don't love.
When people ask TL and I, what's your favorite Elvis movie? It's like, oh my gosh, we have to categorize them.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
the serious 50s films?
Yeah.
The lightweight, fun movies?
I'd say one that always goes overlooked as well in terms of the soundtrack and Elvis's acting role. I always love Fun in Acapulco.
Great.
It's one of my favorites. Yes. I just love the soundtrack on that, and I've always sort of gone towards that sort of movie as well.
And even though those tunes he does in Fun in Acapulco, where he's doing the fighter and he's got the cape on, oh my gosh, it's so dramatic.
Oh, it is.
It's so beautiful. It's like you're not even really realizing that he's singing about a bull or whatever.
Yeah.
You're just like,
I must say, Elvis looked amazing in it as well. I mean, Elvis just always looked cool.
Your enthusiasm is great. I like that. And when we knew we were going to be involved with this, and I've always been on the line with the ETA thing, like I didn't know much about it. So we got involved with this, and we realized you guys really are fans, and we've become now big supporters of what you do because we love every guy we've talked to. We've talked to Dean. We talked to Ted, Mr. Personality over there.
Oh, Bruno. Oh, wow.
Yeah. He's.
But you had some fun with that.
Yeah, oh, we did. Yeah, we met him last year anyway. But you guys just as soon talk about Elvis as yourself, and that says a lot right there.
Yeah, I think to be honest, Elvis fans, I think the Elvis Tribute Artists, they seem to get a bad rap. I think that's because they can't differentiate the difference between an Elvis impersonator and a tribute act. What we like to do is pay tribute to Elvis. We're all Elvis fans on the stage. We pay tribute to our idol. We're on the stage living our dreams, sort of singing these songs that we've grown up listening to. And then the impersonators, I mean, respect to them, like they're doing what they enjoy doing. However, I think that's where it crosses the line where it becomes disrespectful in case where they're pretending they are Elvis. So what we like to say, there's only one Elvis, and there will only ever be one Elvis, and we're just paying tribute to him, trying to carry on the legacy as such.
Right, yeah. And, that's what we've been trying to get across every time we go live from here this last 4 days.
Yeah.
Because we didn't know the difference either coming here.
Yeah.
And that is where the line needs to blur between the Elvis world, the people that are for it and the people that are against it, is to understand what it is you're trying to do.
Right.
And realize that you're not the gentleman getting up there that shouldn't be singing and shouldn't be up there and thinks that he is Elvis. So I'm glad you said that, because that's an important feature that we all need to know.
For sure, yeah.
We haven't spoken to Bill Cherry yet. I mean, we met him and kind of shared what we did. He's like, what do you want to talk about? And we said, we like talking about Elvis. He's good.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk about me. I'd rather sit and talk about Elvis.
That's what Bill's. Bill's probably. We've all got our favorite Elvis tribute acts, and Bill's always been my favorite. He's just the guy. Whenever you look at the '70s, Bill's just the guy that. Whenever I watch him, I feel like I could be watching Elvis in terms of the way, like he's studied Elvis down to everything. So that's what I mean. Like, we respect Elvis. We want to give our best performance paying tribute to him. But Bill just embodies that whole Elvis persona on the stage.
Did you see the skirt heap of the table skirt? Oh my gosh, I never laughed so hard. He's so hilarious. And
he's
that's
brilliant.
Something Elvis would have done.
It's something Elvis would have done.
Yeah.
But he's doing it in his own way. That's the amazing thing as well.
I won't hold you a lot longer because I know you're busy.
I'm enjoying this. Don't worry about that. Okay. Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Well, I got to ask you the typical question we ask all the ETAs that we've talked to. We know you love Elvis, and we know that's what gives you your drive. But who else is on your playlist when you've got your headphones on in your own zone? Who are you listening to?
It's funny because in my house, my brother's just over the hall. He lives in the room there, and he'll be listening to all the rap music from like this era and everything. And I generally can't get my head around how anyone could listen to that music. So I can't get past the 70s. I think the 70s, early 80s is probably as far as I would go. So if I'm not listening to Elvis, I'm listening to Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Bobby Darin, James Brown, the Beatles.
Oh, wow.
Just all of these amazing. Like Ray Charles is one of my favorites. I love Ray Charles. So it's a variety for sure.
All right. Next thing I was going to ask you, we got to talk about the movie. Are you pro or con on the Elvis film.
I'm a pro for anything which brings Elvis to the big stage. I think it was a great movie, and I think Austin Butler, he, just like we were saying about Bill there, like we do it with such respect, and we try to study Elvis as much as we can to be able to sort of just carry on his legacy. But when Austin was actually playing the role as Elvis rather than paying a tribute to Elvis, he just got that down to a T, just everything. Like I think the years of like craft that he put into that, it just definitely shown on the screen.
Just moving the way he moved his fingers,
for sure, yeah,
the way he rolled his everything. You could tell.
It was
The
amazing.
walk.
The walk, I don't know how he didn't get an Oscar
my
just for the walk.
gosh. Yeah, I mean, I remember when that first clip came of the movie and it was him from behind walking. I was like, what?
Yeah, with the levers on and everything, just walking for the 68.
Like, oh my gosh, that
it was amazing.
cool.
I think, Emilio, one thing good about you is you are young, and we don't want to keep focusing on it, but we are seeing younger fans, and I think you are going to be carrying those younger fans.
Well, I hope so. That's the whole point that's the reason I got into this business, because I was going to a lot of the Elvis festivals back at home, and it's not a sad thing, but when you look at it, it's actually quite sad that it was a lot of an older generation that was just slowly sort of deteriorating. And I know Elvis will carry on forever. He's the man. He's gonna be around. I always say to people, like, if they ask me one word to describe Elvis, I always say infinite. Elvis is always going to be around, that's for sure. But ever since the Elvis movie, it's just a new cease of life has just come into this business, and it's just amazing. I'm doing shows back at home, and there's people my age, people younger. There's young kids that are putting on the jumpsuits, and it just reminds me of me, because I was always the one kid in the audiences when I was younger. I was 4 years old, 7 years old, always going to the local Elvis shows in the jumpsuits, and I was the only young guy in the crowd. And just to see at least three of them in the audience, maybe even more, is just amazing.
Us as fans prayed for this day to come.
Yeah,
because growing up in my generation, I graduated in 1983. So that's how
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
You know. But yeah, kids were listening to Kiss and Rush and Megadeth and all that stuff when I was in school. I was the kid with the Elvis, shirt on and this and that. And he would get some respect, but a lot of times he was a joke.
He wasn't cool.
He was like a circus carnival.
Yeah, I think that's what I found when I was in school. I was always trying to listen to all the music my friends were listening to, just because it's what they were listening to. If I put Elvis on, they would have sort of laughed at the time.
Right.
But I think I took them all to the movies with me to go see the Elvis movie, and they understood it a lot more. So whenever we're in the car going to like places, whether we're going to be playing soccer back home together, they'll be asking for like Wearing That Love Done Look, or like Kentucky Rain, or something. Even these songs that you don't really hear much.
Right.
So I'm slowly getting them into the Elvis, and I think they definitely appreciate it more.
That's our job as fans, to convert.
For sure. Even my dad. My dad wasn't a massive Elvis fan before, but he's always supported me. My mum, like I said, a massive Elvis fan, but my dad's always supported me, and he will always come to the Elvis festivals to support me. And slowly, I think we've turned him to the dark side now, I think.
Are they aware of your fame? They're seeing it happening right now? They must be so excited.
Well, my mum and dad, in everything I've been able to do in life, whether it was playing soccer, whether it was just singing, playing my guitar, they would support me in anything I'm doing. So I'm very lucky in that sense. But I think now that they're seeing that I'm starting to reap the rewards of the hard work, getting to travel the world, doing something I love, I think they're living my dream with me every day.
What other countries have you been in?
Yeah, so I've been in Australia. I've been obviously to the States. I've actually just arranged a deal to go over to the Philippines. So it just shows it just shows how big Elvis is. He's in every different continent. It's just amazing.
We talk about this all the time, how it must feel, especially some of the guys from the States.
Yeah.
Because Elvis's dream was to perform out of the country.
Yeah.
He never got to do it. But now you guys, like you just, Philippines. Elvis would have probably been amazing. Loved to have done that.
Yeah.
It's got to feel great to you.
It's amazing. I think it's like we're sort of finishing off the work that just Elvis wasn't able to do that he wanted to do. Like, I think for us back at home in the UK, Elvis was only he stopped in Prestwick Airport for not even a day, really. Yeah. So he was just there. He stopped in Prestwick Airport up in Scotland. So that's as close as we got to Elvis being with us. And obviously he was over in Germany for a long time. So I think that we sort of back at home, we just appreciate it more, that like whenever we see these guys that come over from the States to like come to our festivals, or Canada, we appreciate that they're able to travel over to come see us, because like you said, Elvis wasn't able to do it, and so we're living the dream, being able to sort of do something that he wasn't able to do, really, and we're trying to carry on his legacy. And I think there's no better way to do it than traveling the world and spreading the word.
We do a lot of lists of things on the show, and we did a list not so long ago about Elvis fandom in different countries. UK was right on top.
Yeah, I think that the UK, they're just, honestly, I never take it for granted. The love for Elvis at these shows is just amazing, and anywhere in the world, but I never take it for granted. Back at home, like, I'll be doing a show, and for a lot of the shows, the generic audience that would come, they'll always ask for the same songs, Hound Dog, Suspicious Minds, but whenever I'm doing the Elvis festivals, it's so refreshing. They'll be asking for songs like Slowly But Surely, like,
I love it.
Like, I'm Coming Home, like all these amazing songs, As Long As I Have You. They'll be asking for these amazing songs that you just don't get to hear, and it's just refreshing. It really is. It's
almost like the concert that Elvis never gave.
That's what I love about it. I think it's great singing the hits and everything, but after a while, it's like, I was speaking to Brian, the Frank Sinatra that was here this weekend, and I was saying to him, do you ever get bored of singing My Way or these songs? Like, and he was saying, like, he just wishes that he could, like, do all these songs that, like, you don't get to hear as much as well. And like I said, I'm a massive Frank Sinatra fan, so I absolutely loved his show. Yeah. But as an Elvis fan, I would love to do just a whole Elvis is Back album sort of show, or something for everybody, the early 60s stuff that you don't get to hear.
Thanks for watching.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And hit that notification bell. We are your Blue Suede Connection.